So guys, many people have been reacting on how this current administration has run down Nigeria. Mr. Dele Momodu was asked on the state of the nation. Here is how he responded to that question. Take a look.
I'm very unfortunate. And to answer you frontally, to ask a question, is there bad governance in Nigeria? I don't think that is in doubt. Every Nigerian agrees on that, and I say it, including the aides of President, Mr. President, who cannot say it in his presence, but they grumble behind him. I say it everywhere. He's my friend, he's my big brother, and if anybody would deceive him, I will remain the only one who will continue to tell him that you are surrounded by liars who are telling Nigeria has never been this bad. I'm not an economist. The other day, someone said, because I studied Yoruba, I can't speak about it. The economy is different from economics. The economy is personal, is internal, and it can be external. Economics is textbook. Every time we hear IMF said, according to certain indices, Nigeria today, I don't know, you are a big man, Ruby. Maybe you are not feeling it.
I'm a struggling journalist.
So if you are a struggling journalist, now imagine the ordinary man on the street. And seriously speaking, it is unfortunate. Because, look, I want us to be practical. I don't want to come here and be repeating and rehashing what people say about government is not doing this. I want to say what government should be doing. That's being practical. The reason why I would say this government is failing is because, number one, they've not been able to check the profligacy that goes on in government in Nigeria. So what I would expect President Tinubu to do, and for him to be able to assure the nation that it means well for the nation. It's not about throwing money around. We've decided to give 50,000 naira to 3 million people. 3 million people amongst how many people? Over 200 million. It's a drop in the ocean. So I expect him to say, today, I am merging some of the ministries. As long as you meet the constitutionally required number of ministries, then cut off the rest. Number two, all these SSAs, every day, they are awarding appointments like popcorn. Like popcorn. Every day. You just remember, the daughter of my friend, the son of my former school teacher. You can't run Nigeria the way you run Lagos State. In Lagos, it's just a state, and then maybe because it's a state, a very wealthy one at that, you can afford that. But nationally, the level of poverty in Nigeria does not allow that. Then all this living large, outlandish lifestyle. You want to buy presidential jet, you want to build multi-billionaire home, stop it now. And we have a good and reasonable example from Kenya. When the demonstration started in Kenya, our good friend William Ruto thought it was the usual, they will come out for 2-3 days, we will suppress them. Today is begging for oxygen. But occasionally we might meet at functions.
You are not close to
No, politically. Because I disagree vehemently, and I stated this publicly, you can fact check it, vehemently. When he had issues with Tokunbo Afikuyomi, who was one of his closest guys, I granted open interview where I said, no, you can't do this. When he was having issues with Fashola, he was almost removing Fashola when he wanted second term. I wrote about their marriage, that they are inseparable because their marriage was made in heaven. When he had issues with Ambode, I wrote letters to him openly. So it's nothing new. I've always, when he was having problem with Saraki, he didn't want Saraki to be Senate president. I wrote him. I said, no, it is unfair in a partnership. CPC had number 1, Buhari. ACN had number 2, Oshibajo. And then Saraki, the PDP breakaway faction, wanted number 3. You said no. You wanted someone else.
So I deliberately asked that because I want to
Yes.
clarify. So as somebody you're not talking to in 3 years, you're not friends. You're not in talking terms.
No. When you say somebody is your friend, a friend could be anything.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but currently you're not in chummy terms. Secondly,
No, we're not fighting.
Okay, you're not fighting, but
No.
you've not also spoken in 3 years.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The reaction the government will always make is that people like you is because they defeated you in election. And I've seen that reaction by the likes of government agents like, Mr. Bayan Onuga, reaction to Mr. Atiku Abubakar's statement and all of that, that they defeated you in election and is still paying you people. That's number one. Secondly, they will also say that most of these things you're asking for them to do, that they have done it, like CNG, like they say they will cultivate 10 million hectares of land and all of that. Like they say they're trying to keep it within range. In fact, they also said about the fact that, they've reduced cost of servicing their debt and all of that. I mean, what do you say to reactions like that when they say it's because it's paying you people?
I've never bothered about the comments of government agents. Never. So, did he defeat us in election when I talked about Afikuyomi, when I talked about Fashola, when I talked about Mbode? I wasn't even a member of their party. I've never been a member of their party. The thing is that in October 2022, I was interviewed on another channel. And I said it clearly, that if he wins, we are likely to have a potential dictator. Every newspaper carried, everybody shouted, how can you say so? What I see today has justified my claim. Look, in good conscience.
Is a dictator?
Well, you can use any word you like, but what I see now,
Okay.
a situation where people cannot protest.
Bob, we have limited time.
Yes.
Now, the Atiku market seems to have gone down. Even some of the people in the Atiku market, Reno Omokri is now carrying Tinubu's flag. Bola is looking for Kokorotinjefo inside the four. He has moved somewhere else, but you are still in the opposition. But let's talk about what you are.
Opposition is not about Atiku. This is what bothers me. When you reduce opposition, that anybody who does not support Tinubu means that it's because of Atiku. I finished my job at the Atiku campaign last year.
My point
I need to clarify that I am Dele Momodu speaking as Dele Momodu as I have always spoken.
Okay, market has ended
yes.
with Atiku.
I don't know about which market.
But let's talk about what you are doing.
Yes.
I know that you have some programs apart from Ovation. You have built a library in Ibadan. Can you tell us about that? Your own philanthropy, your own program.
Correct. I need to quickly add that I'm doing what I'm doing because I was radicalized by some people. Your foundation, I'm happy that Prophet El Buba mentioned foundation when he was talking to you. My foundation is academic in nature. So, Wole Soyinka, Bola Tinubu, MK Abiola, they all inspired us to be able to speak truth to power. And I will continue to speak truth to power, whether I retire from politics or not. So now, back to the issue of the Dele Momodu Leadership Center. About 5 years ago, I conceptualized the idea that, look, by the time I'm 65, I should be winding down. I don't want to be like a typical Nigerian politician who wants to be in politics forever. What can I do that will be a legacy project? So I identified Ibadan as being very central to my academic life. Very close to Ife, very close to Lagos for Unilag and all of that. So now we've just completed it, and in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we should be able to open it for people to come there.
Congratulations.
But thank you so much. Thank you. I know you have one. That's one of the reasons, that's one of our connections. I got the idea from Bellagio in Italy. And what is it? I have 4 bedrooms, almost a 5-star status, where you apply. It's strictly by invitation or application. So you apply, you come, you want to do your research work, and we provide a 5-star environment for you, and at no cost. So it's under the Dele Momodu Foundation. So for me, that's what most politicians should be doing. The reason why you see all these jobbers in Abuja, I've only been to Abuja once this year, which was last week, and I went for a ceremony. Nothing, So let our politicians begin to have jobs that they do. And when you talk about Atiku again, I'll go back to him. It's one of the reasons I respect him. He doesn't have a state he controls in the whole of Nigeria. Not one. And the man is managing himself, managing his family. Politicians should rely less on the business of politics. And I pray they don't drive these young Nigerians to that level, because the level of desperation is unprecedented in the country. So the president must come out. It's not a question of when I'm traveling, I will reduce my entourage to 20 people. That's nothing. So that is my reaction to that. Profligacy is key. Everything else emanates from that. When they say we don't have money, but they have money for politicians. Chief M.K. Abiola used to say that there is enough for the need of every Nigerian, but there is not enough for the greed of some Nigerians.
All right.
Yes, then Edo State.
Okay.
Yes, I'm from Edo State. My father came from Yebe in Owan East local government of Edo State. And now he navigated and meandered his way to Ile-Ife. I would not know. But he settled in Ile-Ife. So I was born in Ile-Ife. But that does not remove from the fact that I am an authentic son of Edo State. I watched my big brother yesterday, Comrade Adam Oshiomhole. I was embarrassed. I was scandalized that he was preaching division and saying because somebody cannot speak a language, if your child is born in America today, automatically he gets an American passport. So the fact that Aso Ighodalo is from Edo State is enough. That's what qualifies. But the other qualification is that how is his background? What is his foundation? What has he contributed to nation building? Is he capable or is he incapable? Is there any reason or any scandal that will not make us to vote for him? The answer is no. This is one of the most accomplished people we have in the race today. And you want to just on television disqualify him because you say he can't speak a language? And it's one of the reasons anyway when people ask me, oh, why can't you contest to be governor in Edo State? I say no. They will disqualify me automatically. They will say I can't speak the language. Is there a language of Edo State? Let's even ask that. What's the language of Edo State? Do we speak only one language in Edo State? When you say you can't speak his language. So for me, what Comrade did yesterday was in bad taste. He should have campaigned for their own candidate in APC. I don't have any problem with that. Campaign for him. Show us his credentials. Show us the reasons why Edo State must vote for him. Not on account of where you come from or the language you can speak or you can't speak. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Are Dele Momodu. Good to have you.
Thank
when you were speaking about that, I was like, oh, they want to be on ovation. You promote lavish, people spending a lot of money. But of course, not just for politicians.
Are you sure they spend a lot of money?
Maybe she didn't read my letter 2 weeks ago.
No, I saw your letter was trending. If you can write a letter, then I don't know what the hope for Nigerians are. But in terms of the way forward for governance, you've spoken. You've not hidden your thoughts about the way that this administration has been run and what better the president can do. Looking at this speech, he tried to highlight some of the things that his administration had done. Provision of CNG buses, expediency in the signing into law, the new minimum wage, upgrading of minimum wage to 70,000 naira from 30,000 naira, and a few other things that he had done, agriculture and the likes. But you don't seem to have been captivated or enamored by that particular speech. Or persuaded, yes, that's the word.
No.
By that particular speech. What would you have wanted him to say? Number one is that finally he spoke 4 days into the protest.
Yeah.
What would you have wanted him to say?
I was one of those who wrote letters. Now I'm a letter writer, like President Olusegun Obasanjo. I write letters. Because I think apart from letters, getting to them one way or the other, especially open letters, it also places on record that some of us are speaking up. Because tomorrow they will say, oh, you didn't tell him. We've told him very clearly what he's doing wrong and what he needs to do right. So Number one, I'm embarrassed. I'm scandalized that in a democracy, a president will tell us people don't have the right to protest. I told the protesters clearly, I'm not protesting because I've become a statesman, I'm an old man. I started the struggle in 1978 as a pioneer jambite at the University of Ife. So my Luther has stopped. But I will protect the rights of others to also have their own
No,
Luther.
but he didn't say people didn't have the right to
No,
protest.
That's what they did.
He said they have the right to
in fact, they
peaceful
wasted
protest.
a lot of our resources on trying to suppress. If the number of security agencies that we saw in Lagos alone were sent to Sambisa, I'm sure by now, maybe we would have wiped out Boko Haram. Look, we intimidate the civilians. And the reason I'm embarrassed is that we mobilized civilians against military regimes. Now, they are indirectly calling on the military. That's why Atiku Abubakar had to issue that statement 2 days ago. That military should not go and kill innocent people on the street. Because now we are mobilizing military against civilians. When in our own time, we were mobilizing civilians against the military. Is it not an irony? So, that's one. Number two, I expected him to do more than an apology, to carry out an investigation into how peaceful protests suddenly became fisticuffs between the security guys and the protesters. Number three, I expected him to give people in concrete terms what he will do to reduce the cost of governance, which everything comes from there. Once you reduce the cost of governance, you will see that you will free enough of our resources for the general use of the general good of the general people.
What areas would you want him to cost?
I've told you one already.
Yeah.
The first is too many bloated cabinet, bloated civil service, bloated special advisors. Most of them don't even have offices. They just hang around. So, if you do that, then the people will say, oh, then I mentioned the presidential jet thing. The man, God already blessed him with a private jet. We all see what happens in other countries that we all like to quote. Oh, can't you see America? What is happening is that in Nigeria, I always say it on my program, we want to practice capitalism without capital. If you don't have capital, you can't live like an American president. What we have are American presidents.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, Bob D, you've always written letters. You wrote letter to Buhari, you wrote letter to all these people. But one question that keeps going through my mind, anytime you say President Bola Wont Tinubu is your friend, I'd like to ask, do you still have a personal relationship?
No, none.
When last did you message him?
Maybe over 3 years ago.
So over 3 years ago, you've not spoken to him again?
No, not at all. We haven't met. I met his wife.
Do you still have his number?
I wouldn't know if it will work, but I have not bothered because it's not necessary.
Okay, good. Secondly, both of you were in the struggle for June 12 those days in different dimensions. You on the media front with your relationship with MKO Abiola, him also as a senator of the SDP then. The question is, what changed as regards the ideology of that struggle, do you think, in him? And where did you think he missed it?
The ideology of that struggle had nothing to do with Tinubu or a political party. It was a general struggle against the military. We wanted democracy. So my relationship with him was more at the level of NADECO. We were searching for the revalidation of the June 12 presidential election, which was annulled. So that is that. When he came back, he became governor. I had no relationship at that level.
Okay.
So guys, we all know that this country is in a total mess at the moment. This government came in, they knew what Buhari did to Nigeria. Instead of them to start remedying the situation, they rather went further to make Nigeria to slide, into a more terrible state. That is actually what is on ground now. So you heard what Mr. Dele Momodu said, that this government has run down the country. And the worst of it is that the Tinubu's government, the people who are advising him are not telling him the reality on ground. They are not telling him how the people are feeling. And Tinubu himself is not the type that relates with the masses. So he himself is disconnected. And the people who are to serve as middleman, they are not doing their job well. So it's like Nigerians are left to like languish in this current situation. And that is the reality of being a Nigerian today. So guys, it is no more a strange news that things are not going well in this country. Honestly, the economic crisis is something else. People keep lamenting. The exchange rate, the naira keep devaluing. The naira keep crashing. And there are no measure to rescue the naira. And even if any rescue is being tried to make now, it's not going to work, because some of the fundamental things that are supposed to be taking place now, nobody's paying attention to those, like making the youths to be very productive. Peter Obi said it during his campaign. He said from consumption to production. You can imagine we want to reverse all the economic woes in this country, but we don't have productivity. I mean, nobody is working. How do we expect it to work? All that is needed currently in Nigeria is for this government to provide employment to the people. Give people work to do. Give them employment. Empower the small businesses so that they can employ people. Empower the state so that the state can empower people. You, the federal government, also empower Nigerians. It has got to that point where Nigerians are lamenting. And there is nothing this government can do to convince Nigerians that they are working night and day. People do not believe all those who are being told that Tinubu is working night and day to make sure Nigeria works. Nobody is seeing the effect of that. It appears Tinubu is sleeping the whole day. And that is why things are not working in this country. So guys, that is it from Mr. Dele Momodu. I don't know what you make of all his reactions. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.